भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमम् देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रये। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Continuing on from text 11 of Sri Gopi Gita, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 31, entitled The Gopis' Songs of Separation. Text 11. Chalasiyat praja charayan pashun Nalina sundaram nathate padam Shiladrinankurai sidatitina Kalilatamana kantagachati. Translation. Dear Master, dear lover, when you leave the cowherd village to herd the cows, our minds are disturbed with the thought that your feet, more beautiful than a lotus, will be pricked by the spiked husks of grain and the rough grass and plants. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanath Swaminiti Namane. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminiti Namane. Namo Acharya Padaya Nitaya Kripa Pradayine Gaura Katha Dhamadaya Nagara Brahmatarine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Continuing on with the nectarian mellows of Sri Gopi Gita, this text 11, the gopis, they are telling Krishna that Krishna, they are remembering that how when Krishna leaves from Gokul or Nandagram, when he leaves from there, when he leaves for the forest, and to herd the cows along with the cowherd boyfriends, that the gopis are saying that our minds are very disturbed with the thought that your lotus feet, which is more beautiful and more delicate than a tender lotus flower, will be pricked by the spiked husks of grain and rough grass and plants. Now, I just want to give a little bit of a prelude to Krishna's morning activities, of how Krishna actually goes into the forest, and what are some of the things that Krishna does before he goes into the forest. So it is explained in this very beautiful book called as Krishnanika Kaumudi, which is written by Srila Kavi Karnapura. He writes that Krishna's morning pastimes actually start with Mother Yashoda waking him up very, very lovingly. She does not just come in and say, "Hey Krishna, wake up." No. But the way she wakes Krishna up is saying that very, very lovingly, very, very caringly. She takes extra time. She takes lot of care in waking up Krishna by saying a lot of enticing things. Like she says that, "Krishna, the sun has already risen and you are still in bed. The sun is actually waiting on the horizon to rise completely, because unless you open your lotus-like eyes, the sun doesn't want to come up fully in its magnanimity. So Krishna, please open your lotus-like eyes so the sun will also come out of the horizon and fully start shining upon all of us." So this is the first thing that Mother Yashoda says. And then she says, even then Krishna is not waking up. Then she says, "Kanha, see, look at your, do you remember your little, bird, your pet bird? The name of your little pet bird is Manjuvak, which is your pet parrot. And that pet parrot, this is called Manjuvak. This pet parrot is constantly calling and saying, 'Jaya Krishna, Jaya Krishna. Look at the way it's so restless for you. Why don't you please get up and just feed it some greens? Your Manjuvak, your pet parrot, is calling for you.'" And then still Krishna does not open his lotus-like eyes. And then Mother Yashoda says that, "Kanha, you are feeling lazy right now because you've been sleeping for so long. But now it is time for you to wake up. So please, please wake up. And look, all your friends have also come. They are also going to go with you to the forest, to herd the cows." Even then Krishna is not waking up. Then Mother Yashoda says, "And by the way, Radhe has also come, along with all the Sakhis, and they are making a very nice, tasty breakfast for you. So please wake up." And as soon as Mother Yashoda utters the name of Radha, at that time Krishna just stretches his limbs and he just takes turns and turns, and then he just gets up, opening his lotus-like eyes, and he embraces Mother Yashoda. So that is how Mother Yashoda wakes Krishna up every single day. And then Krishna is taken into, he goes and takes a bath, and even there's very, very vivid descriptions about what, and how Krishna takes his bath. And then after that he is dressed, wearing different kinds of ornaments, different kinds of jewelry all over his body. He wears yellow silk dhoti, and then he comes into the dining table. And it is explained that Srimati Radharani, in the meanwhile, she cooks up an entire feast in the morning. She has so less time, but along with the expertise of her Sakhis, of her Prana Sakhis, at that time Srimati Radharani makes unlimited number of items. She makes like 4 kinds of soups only. She makes sweets which are impossible to even keep count of, because she just keeps making them so many, different kinds of sweets Radharani will make. She makes like 10 different kinds of drinks. She makes different sour items. She makes sweet items, salty items, all of this. She makes it very, very sumptuous, so that Krishna and the Sakhas, and Nanda Baba, Jashoda Mata, Lord Balaram, Rohini Devi, all of them can sit, they can take nice prasad in the morning, and that Krishna will be out the whole day. So Srimati Radharani would take extra care that she is feeding Kanha very, very nice and sumptuous prasadam, which will keep him going for the entire day. And then during his lunch, Krishna just packs little buttermilk and, some roti, and sometimes some sabji he takes, so that, he can eat it like a picnic time along with his friends in the forest. But therefore, that's why this morning meal that Krishna takes is very, very heavy, and like innumerable number of items. And it is explained by Shlakavi Karnapura that Krishna eats all of this. And just by looking at all of these preparations made so lovingly by Srimati Radharani and the Sakhis, Krishna is just satisfied. Like 90% he's satisfied just by looking at it. The way Srimati Radharani presents each and every one of those items. And then he eats each and every item. And Srimati Radharani, she does not cook the same item, she does not repeat it the same next day. Every day is different kinds of items that she makes for Krishna. That is the glory of Srimati Radharani. So, and when before Krishna starts eating, Mother Jashoda starts by saying that may this meal turn into pure nectar. This is the mother's, heartfelt blessings, and this is the reason why Mother Jashoda actually took so much of austerity that she wanted Srimati Radharani to come and cook for Krishna every single day, because Srimati Radharani was given the blessing by Durvasa Muni that whatever she cooks, it will be like nectar. Anyone who eats anything cooked by Sri Radhe will never fall sick and will be blessed with all good fortune. So this blessing of Durvasa Muni was spread all over Braj, and therefore Mother Jashoda, she went very humbly appealing to Maharaj Vrishabhanu and to Mother Kirtida that please, I beg of you, that please allow Radhe to come to my palace every day, because I want her to cook for my Krishna. So by this, Srimati Radharani was cooking every day for Krishna, and still Mother Yashoda would say that may this meal turn into nectar. And then, getting this blessing from Mother Jashoda, then Krishna and everyone else would start honoring the most delicious and the delicacy preparations made by Srimati Radharani. And then after eating, Krishna is very satisfied. He takes nice tambula, and then he takes a little bit of a rest, because he's so full. And in that full condition, it's very difficult to go out immediately. So he takes a little bit of rest. And then Krishna gets up again. He again decorates himself with, he gets dressed this time when he's about to leave for the forest. Krishna gets dressed with garlands made of some fruits, little small fruits, and also garlands made with forest flowers, very special forest flowers. Then gunja mala with gunja berry. He makes garlands and different kinds of, armlets and bracelets with gunja berries. Gunja berries are, like red in color, very red, just like how we have blueberries. These gunja berries are red in color, but they're smaller in size. They're very, very tasty, very, 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 very tasty. So Krishna, he also wears ankle belts that are made of gunja berries, and they actually make a nice sound when Krishna walks. And like this, they also decorate their face, and this kind of decoration goes not only for Krishna and Balaram, but also for the Sakhas. The Sakhas, they take great pleasure in mixing different kinds of clay with different kinds of colors and doing little, dots on Krishna's lotus face, decorating and painting Krishna's lotus face. And they're getting, like celebrating going out into the forest. And then Krishna comes out and he sees his cows and he takes all that colored clay and then he decorates a little bit on each of the cows, the 900,000 cows that Nanda Maharaj has. He decorates each and every one of them. Quickly, he just decorates them so beautifully. And then Krishna starts leaving for the forest. And when Krishna starts leaving for the forest, everybody knows that Krishna will be back as soon as it is sunset. By evening, before it is sunset, Krishna will come back to the palace. But Nanda Maharaj, Jashoda Mata, and all the Brajavasis, including even toddlers, they also come out into the street to see Krishna, Balaram and the Sakhas leaving from the village and going into the forest. It is as if the forest, the little toddlers, they're not even able to stand up, but they come out in front of their homes. They come crawling in front of their homes, and it's like they also are going through a separation, that Krishna is leaving them for the entire day. So the little toddlers also come out of the homes of the Brajvasis, and then in their little baby-like language they say, Jaya Kanha, and please come back soon. Like that they say. And then Krishna looks at each and every one of them while playing on his flute most enchantingly, and he calls out to all the Brajvasis. So all of them come, and Nanda and Jashoda, they also keep following Krishna. They don't say, okay, bye Krishna, you can go now. No, they can't even tolerate even a moment of separation from Krishna. So they follow Krishna throughout, to the outskirts of the village. Then when they are about to enter the forest, Krishna turns around and he tells Mother Jashoda and Nanda Baba that, why don't you go back now? And I will be back before it is sunset. I will be back. So then one time, Mother Jashoda, she said to Kanha that, Kanha, you are going out into the forest to graze with the cows. There are so many, hard stones, rocks, thorns, hard grasses and dried up grass. All of this is there in the forest, floor. So please, I made these shoes for you, Krishna. Please, can you wear these shoes and go into the forest, so that my heart is not in anxiety that you are stepping on any thorn. So Krishna, he very lovingly took those shoes. And he said, oh Maya, thank you very much for making these shoes for me. And Krishna was about to wear those shoes. And then he lovingly looked at his mother, and he said, Maya, you made shoes for me, but what about my dear ones? Like this Krishna asked, and then Mother Jashoda said, no problem, I have made for all your sakhas. I have made shoes for all of them. So then Kanha said, okay, thank you that you have made for all the sakhas, but what about my other priyas, other dear ones? Then Mother Jashoda was a little confused, and she asked, who other dear ones are you talking about, Kanha? I made it for you and your cowherd friends, and all of them have shoes, look. And everyone was holding their shoe. All the cowherd boys, they were holding their respective shoes in their hands, and they were waiting for Krishna to first wear the shoe, and then they will wear the shoe. And then Kanha looked up at Mother Jashoda and said, what about my cows? They are my life, Maya. If they are not wearing shoes, how can I wear shoes? So then Mother Jashoda, she just put her hand on her head and said, Kanha, your father has 900,000 cows. So I have to make 900,000 multiplied by 4 pairs of shoes. I cannot do that much. How can I make so many pairs of shoes? That is impossible for me to do, Kanha. So then Kanha said, then Maya, it is impossible for me to also wear any shoes. If my dear cows are not wearing any shoes, how can I, who am serving the cows, I am their servant, how can I wear any slippers? So Maya, I thank you very much, but I will not wear. So Mother Yashoda was a little, she couldn't do anything about it, but then, she allowed Krishna to go barefoot. So this is Krishna. How much dear he is Gopala, he is Govinda, that how dear are the cows to Krishna, that if the cows are not wearing shoes, even Kanha will not wear shoes. That is the loving relationship that Krishna has with each and every one of his preshthas, of his dear ones. And this particular verse is describing this particular scene, because even the gopis, they also start peeking from their own homes, from the palace of Nanda Maharaj. Radharani is peeking and seeing Krishna walk away. And their hearts are just paining so much because Krishna is barefoot and he's walking behind the cows. If you remember, in text 7 of the same chapter of Gopi Gita, there's a very beautiful verse, one of my most favorite ones actually. And there, the gopis are saying that this is text 7 of Sri Gopi Gita. Pranata dehina papakarshanam trinacharanugam sriniketanam phaniphanarpitam te parambujam Krinukucheshuna Krindhirechayam. So in this verse, the gopis are calling Krishna, they are addressing Krishna, that he is Trinacharanugami. Trinacharanugami means one who is the follower of the Trinachar. Trinachar means the cows, because the cows, they graze. Charna matlab grazing, and trina means grass. So the cows, they're grazing on this forest, grass, and they are walking in front, and Krishna is following behind them. So he is referred to as Trinacharanugami, that Krishna is following the footsteps of the cows. And when the cows are walking in the front, they keep eating and they keep walking. They keep nibbling on the grass. And when the cows eat, they take the soft portion of the grass, which is on the top, and then they keep moving forward, right? So when that happens, when Krishna comes to walk, he actually is stepping on half-eaten grass, which is the most hard. It's like spiked husk of grain, what the gopis are talking about in text 11. This is what they're talking about, that the spiked husks of grain and the rough grass and plants, your tender lotus feet is actually falling on this, hard grass. Shila Trina. Shila means Shila Trinankurai Sida Piti Naha. Shila means sharp edges of grain, and Trina is grass, and Ankurai means the sprouting plants. So all of these are very, very rough, they're very hard, and Krishna's tender lotus-like feet is actually falling on these, half-eaten grass, and it is paining Krishna so much. But he never realizes that pain. That pain never disturbs him because he is so much in love. Krishna's love surpasses all of this kind of, physical inconvenience that Krishna himself has taken upon himself, that he does not feel it. But the gopis, Srimati Radharani, they cannot tolerate imagining that Krishna's soft, tender lotus feet is getting pricked by the spiked husks of grain. The Shila Trina, it is getting so much scorched by this, this half-eaten grass. They cannot tolerate that. And they are telling that our minds are extremely disturbed, O Kanha, that whenever we think that, you are walking on that kind of grass, we are very, very disturbed. It is very disturbing for us. And you leave us with so much of anxiety, Krishna. Every time you go into the forest, this is the anxiety we have. And Krishna is meeting with the gopis right in the afternoon. As soon as he goes in the morning, then mid-morning, he leaves with the cows and the cowherd boys. And then Krishna enjoys for a little while in the forest, playing with the gopas. He kills a couple of demons at that time. And then right after that, in the afternoon time, Krishna actually goes and has intimate pastimes with the gopis and Srimati Radharani. So just for those, maybe less than couple of hours, the gopis are not with Krishna. Every moment is like a yuga. It is so difficult for them to, go through those every moment without Krishna, because they're in so much of anxiety. And in the same mood, we see that how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu left us only 8 verses of the most glorious Shikshashtakam. Out of that, one of the verses of the Shikshashtakam is Yugayitam nimishena chakshusha pravrishaitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. That, hey Govinda, in your separation, one moment, one nimisha. Nimisha means, if we look at the, time calculator, nimisha is less than, I think it's 0.26, part of a second is called a nimisha. So it is so much less, yugaitam nimishena. So one nimisha, which is, just a brief moment, not even a second, it's a brief moment, that is like a yuga. Yugayitam nimishena, chakshusha pravrishaitam. We just, how we live our life without Krishna, it is impossible to even, words fall short to describe how we can live our lives without Krishna. Yugayitam nimishena, chakshusha pravrishaitam. When Krishna disappears from our eyes, from the object of our vision, that every moment is like a big millennium. Shunyayitam jagat sarvam, that the entire world seems shunya, it's just zero, it's like worthless. There's no point in living in such an empty world. It's just, there's nothing moving around in the entire world, it seems as if. Govinda virahena me, in separation from my most beloved Govinda. So we can see that the Shikshashtakam flow is also, it's like the entire Krishna consciousness in a nutshell. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given in the form of these 8 verses. So how he starts from the beginning with Cheto Darpana Marjanam, that how by chanting the holy names we are, cleansing the mirror of our mind. All the dust that is settled in the mirror of our mind, we are cleansing all of it. And then it goes on and on with Nam Namakari Bahudhanija Sarva Shakti, about glorifying the holy name. Then how do we chant the holy name constantly? How will we be allowed to chant the holy names constantly? Bhatrinadapi Shunichena, Tarorapi Saheshrana, Amani Ramanadena, Kirtaniya Satahari. That way, only when we are able to be more humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, giving all respect to others and expecting none in return. I heard a very jovial point made by one Maharaj recently, and Maharaj was mentioning that it is very, sometimes devotees think that yes, I can be humbler than a blade of grass. I can, manage even being tolerant than a tree. I can definitely give all respect to others, but we tend to forget the 4th thing, that we expect none in return. That is the most difficult one. But yes, I can give you all respect as long as you give the same respect to me. That is what the calculation goes on in every mundane mind. But in the mind of a pure devotee, they expect none in return. Whether they are, spat upon, whether they are not even talked about, no credit given to them, they don't even care. They are just interested in giving all respect to others and literally expecting nothing in return. So this is a very, very important point that Mahaprabhu says in the third verse of the Shikshashtakam, which is giving all respect to others, but expecting none in return. We should never expect that everyone will come and respect us. That is a huge, huge pride, huge anartha, and we should be very careful, very, very cautious, very, properly we should try to eradicate this feeling from our minds, because it's very difficult to do it. So, like this, Mahaprabhu keeps going, how, we can start from the, first stages and then keep making progress, and then in the 7th verse, Mahaprabhu describes Yugaitam nimishena chakshusha prabhishaitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. This is the 7th verse. And then, of course, the last verse, where Mahaprabhu talks about Krishna. Like last Saturday when we were discussing, we saw the 10th verse. In the 10th verse, the gopis are addressing Krishna as Kuhaka. Kuhaka is translated as cheater. The greatest of cheats is Kuhaka. So in the same mood, Mahaprabhu also addresses Krishna as, a very, like a cheating kind of a lover, by addressing him as Lampata. Lampata, Kuhaka, these are kind of synonyms in Sanskrit. So Mahaprabhu is actually addressing Krishna also as, hey Lampata, hey cheater, you are a very fickle lover. You are a very, fickle lover. You cannot stay with one person all the time, but I don't care, Krishna. That ashli shiva padaratam pinashtumam adarshanan marmahatam karotu va yatha tatha va vidadhatu lampato mat prananathastu sa eva naparaha. That Krishna, you may, embrace me tightly sometimes, and sometimes you may completely adarshanam marmahatam karotu va. That sometimes you may become completely invisible to my eyes, and sometimes you may embrace me tightly. But you are my worshipable Lord, birth after birth. That is the final instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we can see that the same mood is carried on. The gopis' mood of separation from Krishna that is expressed here in this particular chapter is the same mood that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also conveyed in especially his last 2 verses of the Shikshashtakam. Because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Srimati Radharani and Krishna combined. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. So Srimati Radharani's mood is combined with the form of, in the body of Krishna. So Radharani's mood and her complexion is, taken by Krishna, and he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So obviously this total mood that is there in this particular chapter is expressed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the last 2 verses of his Shikshashtakam. So on that note, today we will end our talk. So if there's any questions or comments or reflections, we can take that now. Thank you very much.
Please I was wondering, at the morning pastimes you mentioned, at what age was that Krishna, and what kind of age Radharani had at that time? So she was able to cook so much. What is the
yes, this is in Krishna's youth. Krishna was above 10, 11 years old. He was like around 11, 12, above. After the Kaumara age, the Kauganda Leela, this is Krishna's, when he was in his youth pastimes. So Radharani was also in her youth.
Okay, so that means this is the incident after killing Kamsa, is it?
No. Krishna went in his youth to kill Kamsa. So Krishna had completely his Vatsalya Leela, all of his, all the 4 stages of his Leela was manifest in Braj only before he even went to kill Kamsa to Mathura. So this is before he went.
Thank you, Mataji. Wonderful classes, and how you relate it with Shishrashtagam was also very amazing. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I have one more small question.
Yes.
Basically, Mataji, you mentioned that Krishna has gone to the forest in the morning, and later on he has passed time with the gopis. Mm-hmm. So even the gopis goes to the forest at that time. Is that
my
understanding?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. In the afternoon pastimes, Vrinda Devi arranges a special meeting point, and it is explained in many books, especially also Krishnanika Kaumudi. There's different other books that explains this, even in Ananda Vrindavan Shampu. These kind of books explain that how there is Ashtakala Leela of Krishna going on, and even in the spiritual world, this Ashtakala Leela is going on. Of course, the only difference over there is that there's no demon killing, because there's no demons in the spiritual world. But otherwise, yes, Krishna does get together with the gopis who come to a designated area where the gopis meet with Krishna at a designated spot. So, it is explained. Actually, I will talk about this in the next class, but I'll just give a little preview that there's a place called Sanket. It falls exactly in between Nandagram and Varshana. And the name of this village, Sanket, is because that here the Sakhas and some of the Sakhis, Vrinda Devi's Sakhis, they would get together and Vrinda Devi would plan, where they are going to meet, in which forest grove they are going to meet, which, area of Govardhan are they going to meet. So that planning would be done by Vrinda Devi, and Vrinda Devi would send her messengers, and, some of the messengers from Krishna's camp also would come, and they would meet at this particular village called Sanket, which is exactly in between the village of Barshana and Nandagaon, and they would give Sanket, they would give indication. There was ways that they would give indication to make sure that Radharani and Krishna.
Yeah, I was wondering if, you're talking about the fact that Vrinda Devi arranges for these pastimes, and I thought that I understood one time that something like, although she arranges these pastimes, that she herself, doesn't enter into Vrindavan, or there's something that she never does herself. Do you know what I'm referring to?
Mataji, your voice is coming from I'm not able to understand the first part. Who is not able to?
Vrinda Devi.
Vrinda Devi is what?
Is it that she herself never enters Vrindavan, or she herself never, there's something that she herself never does in connection with Krishna's pastimes, although she arranges it. I don't remember exactly what I heard, but it's something like that, I don't know if you have any idea of what I might be talking about.
Well, Vrinda Devi personally arranges the meeting places. She personally takes care of all the decorations. Of course, she does, it with her assistants, which are the parrots, the birds, the different animals. These are the assistants of Vrinda Devi. And she personally takes care of each and every, forest grove. What will be the decoration? What will be the, location. How is the location based on what pastimes they're going to do? Okay, when they come over here, what are they going to do? Their entire schedule is worked out by Vrinda Devi. All of that detail is done by Vrinda Devi. So she is definitely personally involved in organizing. But then when the divine couple, when they come, she not necessarily will be in the front. She makes sure that all the arrangements are done, and then the Sakhis and Srimati Radharani and everyone come, and then Vrinda Devi is like the one who is the organizer. So Krishna has a very special relationship even with Vrinda Devi. And, after their night pastimes together, when Krishna and Radharani are taking rest, Vrinda Devi is the first one who engages the parrots to sing very, like an alarm, sing very softly so that to wake up the divine couple, nicely. So they wake up like that. And Vrinda Devi is the one who arranges for that. And then she is the one who arranges for refreshment, some drinks, before the divine couple leaves the night, forest grove. And then they go to their respective homes and do, continue on staying in their own individual beds and like that. But yeah, Vrinda Devi is definitely personally involved in the entire process.
Yeah, she's personally involved in terms of organizing, but maybe it's that, she's not, maybe what I heard is that she never takes part in the pastimes themselves. I don't know
directly. She never directly, she sometimes does. There's no rule that she never takes part, but sometimes she does because, the swing pastimes especially, it's Vrinda Devi who organizes that. I mean, all the pastimes for that matter, it is Vrinda Devi who organizes it, and not necessarily she's present during the actual Leela because she is busy organizing the next one,
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So in that sense, she might not be directly, involved while the Leela is going on, you know, but she is definitely there. She's definitely there.
Mm-hmm. So because she's so, intimately and heavily involved in the organizing, I'm wondering if that's the reason why Krishna is not satisfied unless she is present, unless she accompanies any of our services,
Okay.
I mean, that's what I'm referring to our instruction that, maybe you can confirm that this is true, that, Krishna is not satisfied unless Vrinda is present. That's why we offer tulsi leaf with all of our meal preps. That's why, we do japa in front of Vrinda Devi. So is this the reason why he is not satisfied unless she accompanies all our services? Or I don't know if you can make some corrections.
Yes, definitely. Krishna's worship is not complete without tulasi. So yes, and that was also a promise because we have to also see it from the complete point of view, because this pastime of tulasi with Krishna, of when Vishnu was cursed by tulasi, this pastime of tulasi with Krishna, of when Vishnu was cursed by tulasi that he will become stone, so he became Shaligram, and tulasi actually wanted Vishnu as her husband. So that is also the reason why, the husband's worship cannot be complete without the wife. So tulasi is actually the wife of Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, her, without her, Krishna's worship is never complete.
Mm-hmm.
And also Shankha, that is the conch. The way to worship Shalagram Shila is by the conch, you take the bathing conch and put tulasi leaf in it, and then with that water you bathe Shalagram. So Shankha is actually none other than Shankachuda, who was Vrindadevi's husband while she was here in the, in this material world. And, when Shankachuda was killed, his bones were scattered into the ocean, and his bones became the conch that we blow in today. So even Shankachuda is used, he is still present in the Shalagram worship or in our daily worship, along with Vrindadevi. These are two, essential ingredients for worshipping Krishna. One is the conch, one is Tulasi Devi. So both husband and wife are serving, this point was very beautifully explained actually, that it is said that a chaste woman has two husbands. A chaste woman has two husbands. That is a contradictory statement. But It is true. Why? Because a chaste woman considers the representative of Krishna to be her husband and Krishna to be her second husband. That is a chaste woman. So Tulasi Devi is the epitome of chastity. She is serving Krishna along with her husband Shankachuda in the form of conch and Tulasi, and both of them are serving Tulasi Devi's husband, who is Lord Vishnu himself. You see? That is the way it is understood.
Mm-hmm. So she serves her husband as well as the representative of her husband.
Yes. She serves both. And along with her, the representative of her husband, she is serving her original husband. So that is the way we should follow in the footsteps of Tulasi Devi, that along with our spouses, we need to serve Krishna, who is all of our husband.
How do we worship the conch? Is it simply by blowing it at the beginning of arti services, or on a daily basis?
There's two ways that conch is used. One is the blowing conch, one is the water conch. The water conch is the one which we use for abhishek or the bathing of the Lord, and the blowing conch is to make the suspicious sound.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for your wonderful questions. Any more questions?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I think, that was a wonderful explanation to those questions, and that brings me a question about, last week you mentioned about Manjaris. And so Vrinda Devi, is she a Manjari because her services sounds like a Manjari's duty?
Vrinda Devi is actually a gopi. She's not a Manjari. Vrinda Devi is actually a gopi. But she has many Manjaris who serve directly under her. But Vrinda Devi is a gopi. She's not a Manjari.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Also, you mentioned about that Shankha. There are two ways to do it. One is for Abhishek, and I think we put water and Tulasi also into that. Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
So using copper vessel and other thing is not the right way, is it, for Abhishek?
No, copper vessel and all that we keep below, no? But the way the water is poured on Shalagram is through the conch.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
This is Kamalaki Dasi. I have read somewhere that Vrinda Devi, she is a Leela Shakti of Krishna. So she arranges all the Leelas.
Yes. Vrinda Devi is actually a very, very special personality.
Yes.
She's a gopi. She has many expansions. She is a gopi also. She is the Leela Shakti of Krishna. She is the Parama Preshta Sakhi of Krishna.
Yes.
The most beloved gopi of Krishna, most beloved Sakhi of Krishna is Vrinda Devi. So she's got many, many roles that she plays because, and Krishna loves Vrinda so much, Vrinda Devi so much, he actually named Vrinda, his abode after her, Vrindavan.
Yeah.
So, she is a very special personality.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam and Jodis to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for such an enlightening session. If time permits, can I have one question?
Yes.
So,
Time has no limit. Please go ahead.
Mataji, thank you so much. Mataji, yesterday I was having a discussion about Vriksha, and this topic came up that I have heard a lot of your lectures in which you have mentioned that how Krishna was playing the flute in the middle of the night. All the gopis, they left everything, even their spouse, their crying children, and they just go in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the night, and then just to be with Krishna. So, but something came up that somebody was mentioning that those gopis which have been mentioned that they left everything and they have their children, so it is not true. They were unmarried. They didn't have any children. So, how far this statement is true?
Well, while in the Bhauma Leela, it is explained that it is written in Srimad Bhagavatam, that it is there that the gopis actually left their babies, they left, everything, and they left their husbands sleeping, and they actually left. But Srila Prabhupada explains in the Krishna book, if you also read the Krishna book, there also Prabhupada very vividly describes the chapter before Rasa Leela, when Krishna is playing on the flute. If you read that particular chapter, there Srila Prabhupada very beautifully describes that how we should not think that the gopis are mundane human beings or mundane girls or mundane wives. That, it seems so cruel that how can they just leave their husbands and their, children and just leave. But Srila Prabhupada explains that they actually go in their spiritual bodies. Their mundane body is still there, lying down next to their husbands, lying down next to their babies. But in their spiritual form, they actually go to Krishna. That is how it is explained. Because the Rasa Leela goes on for one night of Brahma. That's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
That is not possible materially. One night of Brahma. Can you imagine that amount of, it's billions and billions of years. That's one night of Brahma.
Mm-hmm.
It is explained that the Rasa Leela is going on for one whole night of Lord Brahma. How? It is because it is going on in their spiritual bodies. While, the other, these are actually very, very esoteric subject matters that it's impossible for us to really even comprehend, but this is how it is explained. That it is going on for one night of Brahma, and that the gopis and Krishna, they are actually continuing on the Rasa Leela in their spiritual bodies. And Krishna is actually at the same time, the other pastimes are also going on, but the Rasa Leela is also going on like that. So, yes, there were some gopis who were unmarried, but most of the gopis, they were all married, especially in the Bhauma Leela. In the Bhauma Leela, all the gopis were married. And that is why Krishna actually wanted to enjoy Parakya Ras, which cannot be enjoyed in the spiritual world. The gopis in the spiritual world are not married.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have husbands. They are all married to Krishna only. In fact, they're not even married to even Krishna. They're just young boys and girls there. But only in Bhauma Leela is where Krishna actually wanted to enjoy Parakya Ras, which is considered to be lowest in the material world, but it is highest in the spiritual world. Krishna wanted to enjoy that Parakya Ras. That while they are being married, take me as more superior and come to me. It's grossly mundane, and it's considered very lowly in the material world. It's considered, fallen. It's forbidden in the material world if anyone is doing something like that. But for Krishna, in the absolute platform, that is the highest form of loving expressions.
Thank you so much. Mataji, maybe I missed reading this part in Krishna book. If you don't mind, can you refer me the chapter which it is?
It's just a couple of chapters before the Rasa Leela.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact chapter on the top of my head, but Krishna plays on the flute. It's the chapter before that. This couple of chapters before the Rasa dance.
Okay. Yes, Mataji, I'll make a note of it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Any more questions? Okay, I will just honor Vrinda Mataji's request. She always allows me to dive more deeper into Gopi Geet. So Mataji, I'm ever grateful to you for giving this opportunity. I will just recite a few of the Gopi Gita verses. Jayati te dhikam janmana vraja shrayata indira shashvadatrahi dayita drishyata dikshuta vaka Tvayi dhrita savas tvam vichinvati vraja janartiham virayoshita nija janasmaya Dvam sanasmita Braja sakhe bhava Kim karismano Jalaruhananam Charudarshaya Madhuraya gira Valguvakya Budhamanonaya Pushkarekshana Vidhikaririma Viramuyati Adharasidhuna Yayasvanam Tava kathamritam Tapta jivanam Kavidhiriditam Karmashapaham Ravanamangalam Srimadatam Bhuvi grinanti ye Dhurida jana. Jai Shri Gopi Geet ki jai.